So we'll move into step J. One cool thing about step J, if you did your other steps correctly, like step G for instance, you'll notice step J is going to default directly to that trimmed center position that you found. There was some confusion. Does this go to your center pulse position or to the trim step position? This goes to the result that you came up with in step G, and it just leaves the head there. This is the point where you would, in step G we already found zero pitch on our blades, right? So this is the place where you could either use a pitch gauge on your blades, or if you have a bevel box. Myself, I particularly, I found a piece of software on the internet called RC Heli Pitch. It's got a bunch of different methods for finding your pitch. It's got your pitch and gap list where you plug in your blade length, and you do the fold them back just like the Mikado and get your scissor action and measure that distance between the two to find your pitch, kind of do that math problem. You can do it by calculation as well. I personally like the pitch by sensor because I get a standard bevel box style level. So for me, I created a jig that I put on the head here, and basically I just mount my phone onto the top here. So let's go ahead and put that on there now. And then what I can do then is I can use my telephone to measure my that 6 degrees of pitch that we're looking for. Basically, I just get my phone lined up, and remember, since I found zero pitch before, all I have to do is calibrate against this step because it's already sitting at 0. Now here's the important part. People worry about blue or red or purple and 6 degrees and what to do here. Essentially, the most important thing is to get your blades to show you 6 degrees at your grips. If you can make the light turn blue while you make that happen, that's the most optimal setup. But if you had to choose between 6 degrees or blue, choose the 6 degrees. If it's 6 degrees in red, that's better than 7 or 8 degrees in blue. It's actually a very simple step. You just orient your tail blade or your main blades so that they are parallel with the boom here, and then while moving the cyclic stick, you basically just tip your blades until you find 6 degrees. You'll see right about there, and again this goes into tenths, so it's a little bit different here. But the point is, you want to get your blades to show you 6 degrees. You'll see I'm floating between 6.2 and 6.3. This tool has about 1/10 of a degree or two of kind of play there. But anyway, for me, I can get 6 degrees and blue, which makes this optimal. Now in my particular case, I did a couple of things to make it here. The most important thing that I did to adjust this was that on the links that go up and down to my grips, my standard balls on the inner swash ring had a spacer on them. They stood off a little bit. So I used balls without spacers. That moved this deflection in a little bit, so the ratio from here to here is a little bit less. What that means is when you tip the swash, the blades don't give as much pitch as if this ball was farther out. There is a great thread in the BeastX forums at Heli Freak that explains that in a lot more detail. I encourage you to take a look at that. It explains a lot about what you can do to the inner swash ring or the outer swash ring, even the distance from here to here, and how that affects what you end up with in pitch. For me, what I try to do is I set my BeastX into the blue, and then I work my mechanicals up the head until I can make my gauge, whatever I'm using, show me 6 degrees. I want to get as close to that as possible. If for some reason I can't get spot on, again, 6 degrees is more important. This is one of those steps you can stay in as long as you need to until you get it right. So really that's it for step J. Let's go ahead and move on to step K.